if someone tells me, is AI going to eat my job? Like, if with so much opportunity right now, it eats your job, then maybe you didn't deserve that job. The difference between skill and experiences, I'm so sure there is someone who's 7 years younger than me and can design far better than I can. So if someone's looking out to what the next step should be, either you know what you want to create and you have a fair enough idea, of put in some years in your career and now you know what is the problem. I would say go ahead and build.
So I would like first get started with a little backstory and how and why I actually texted you to be over here. So back in 2024, when I was in my college in IIT Guwahati doing my masters, there was a session, there was a some conference that happened with you, Saptarishi, and my professor. And there you were one of the speakers, and I was sitting in the audience like that little kid who was asking random questions. I still remember the question and your suggestion that you gave me, and that's where it all started for me. So it's been like a big turning point for me in my life, in my design career. And that's when I was like, I started with, and today, I mean, it's like a full circle moment right now for me, where you are sitting just across, we're having this conversation. It's like amazing. So, first of all, welcome back everyone to Design with AI Future Frames, and this is a place where we talk to designers, builders, founders who are redefining the processes and workflow of design in today's era. So today's guest is someone who doesn't need any introduction, I believe, personally, because everyone knows you. Welcome to this episode, Atul. And thank you so much,
Thank you.
first of all, for being here and accepting my request. So,
I think that's
yeah.
the whole point of it. I think the goal is to keep being a part of so many stories that one of you, when you write your autobiographies, I get to be a small part of it. And I think that's what this whole thing has been about
Yeah.
so far.
So, how's everything for you? Like, tell us about you and where
Hmm.
are you today and what you are doing today?
Currently, I'm in Vietnam. I think I've been here for like almost 4 to 5 months. This
Yeah.
last 1 year, I think, or more than a year, I think I've been outside India. I have stayed across multiple countries, said like Vietnam. Before that, there was Sri Lanka for some time, and then before that, it was Dubai. And I think in this last 1 year, I think even beyond just me moving, I think the whole industry has faced such an enormous wave of changes. I think from what we perceived in terms of what AI would do to what it's doing right now, how it has kind of seeped into our daily workflows, I think a lot's happening. And I think, especially since I'm in the space of building with AI right now, this whole new startup that I'm working on, I think uh, the amount of insights, learnings, workflow changes, and there is what I've realized, like if you don't actively work in this space, everything comes as a second, third wave to you. But I think if you're working in the space right now, it's like you're riding on the first wave and it's exciting. It's kind of scary at times. It's very confusing, but it has been a crazy journey the last 1 year. I think uh, the way we used to think about design, the way we used to think about how orgs work,
Yeah,
how products are made, everything has changed in the last 1 year. And
totally.
experience no longer counts, I think, because everyone's learning it for the first time. So everything is brand new to everyone. And yeah, I think it's been a crazy year.
True. I mean, it's been like for me as well, what we used to do previously as a student, also, and now being in industry, things are like literally shifting every other day. Everything I'm going to office and learning something new that this has happened, this has happened. We are shifting tools, we are shifting workflows, and it's exciting, but also like a lot of I feel cognitive load to actually cope up with all these things every other day.
Yeah, I think we have
Yeah,
seen
that's
everything. There was a time where you had like, okay, Claude has now killed marketing, now business analytics. Like every day they're like, what's happening? Yeah. But I've realized that like it's just like there's so many things that we think about what AI can do and what it can really do, like that bridge is high. But
Mhm.
only if you're swimming under it, you would know. Otherwise, you'll just have to like absorb it, how people kind of throw it out there.
True, true, definitely. We'll get in depth of these things, and also that you mentioned that you are in the building phase now. But before that, I want to like go a little back in the story
Hmm.
about your journey from NIFT to the industry to CureFit, CRED, how it has
Yep,
been
yep.
for you, where it all started, and how did you like still in this?
Pretty much one of those people who used to believe that, because I can sketch and I can draw and I can like maybe do some of
Yeah.
those creative things like building those charts in classes that get stick to the blackboard behind. I think used to be that kind of kid. And that builds up this illusion that, I'm an artist, I'm creative. But I also had like very helicoptering parents, so I went to Kota to escape that for 2 years. I was supposed to be in one of the
Hmm.
IITs where we actually met for the first time, and but yeah, I think definitely not the right fit for it. I understood it too soon, and then wasted rest of the two
Hmm.
years just messing around there. Uh, and I think it pretty much messed up so bad that I didn't have much faith for like clearing the boards. Somehow dragged myself
Hmm.
through it. Not a lot of colleges were giving options to people uh, who didn't really perform academically that well after 12th. NIFT luckily
Yeah.
was nice, and again, me being creative kind of worked out.
Yeah.
Uh, Funny story, I entered NIFT thinking GD means game design. I was like, I love playing games on phone, and that's what I pretty much did in Quota. So yeah, this would just work out. Turns out GD means graphic design. And I didn't have an iota of sense of what fashion means. And like there are people like the top of the top
Yeah.
cream people who got into NIFT because they really loved fashion. I had none of
Yeah.
that, but I think after realizing that, I was kind of just floating around. And I think NIFT has a decent amount of distractions if you're a guy for at least a year. Until I started realizing that this GD subject is pretty cool because it
Hmm.
had the power of like if again like I think my branch was fashion and communication, and its job was like if
Hmm.
this is the world of fashion and these are people, how do you communicate these ideas to this world in the way that they actually absorb it? And I think the whole
Okay.
idea of being able to control how, and graphic design plays a very important part in that. Like if there is something to communicate and these have to be communicated, it gives you control in terms of the how part of it. And
Yeah.
that kind of sense of control really clicked for me. And something that I realized very soon after I stepped into that college is I'm not that great an artist that I thought I was, because I was surrounded with some amazing visual masterminds who were like creating galaxies paintings with this toothbrush. And I was like, I am nowhere there. Uh, so I think in a survival instinct, humans understand that you have to find your edge. And I was like, either
Hmm.
you have to be the best at something or the first one at
Yeah.
something. The best was not an option considering, because I realized like the world is full of amazingly talented and skilled people. I could never be in that top percentile. Uh, so the only option left was to actually think creatively, think differently. And I think that is something that really clicked for me. And even with graphic design and communication, that was a angle that worked out really well. So I kind
Hmm.
of poured all my effort into that. And that unlocked something for me, because pretty much everything that you do is about communicating it to the final user, even in that world. And that time it could be my teachers, my juries. I always found like new ways of doing it. It was not the finest looking piece, but it was the most differently thought piece. That kind of led me from a 5.4 percentile to like 9.86 something at top India. And I say that very proudly because I have not given that happiness to my parents throughout life. So that happened only once. So it has a special place in my mind. Uh, but yeah, I think
Great.
my first job was not even into fashion. I started working with a US company from second year itself. I was designing SaaS platforms, websites, and I'm talking the days of Photoshop being the tool for that. Like uske baad the world moved to Sketch, then to Figma, and now Figma's doing amazing things. But around that time, and I learned like how amazing this control is of the how. Then my first job
Hmm.
was in a edtech startup where I realized that product design is a space altogether, and I just joined them as a graphic designer. But with product design, something that really clicked for me was it. While I still had the control on the how, product also gives you control on the what. So you decide the narrative of what has to be communicated, but you also decide how it needs to be communicated. and that pretty much gives you control on the whole life cycle, which really clicked for me. It has been what, like, I think now 11 to 12 years of being in this space. I think that
Yeah.
control has just kept me in there. And I think it
Hmm.
almost got boring around the end of it because I'm like, how long do I keep doing this? And then AI came and flipped the whole story. So I think now it's just completely new. It's what you can do, how do you do things, everything has completely
Yeah.
changed. And now it's about control, but it's also about, like, when I joined it last time, I was maybe the second generation, third generation of designers coming in. Like, I remember when I started, I
Yeah.
used to like look at Saptrishi posting stuff. I mean, he was there and I
Yeah.
was entering in. Like, that's how I started. So I think now we're at a stage where everyone's starting line is the same, and everything
Yeah.
that you have to learn is completely new. And I think that's what's
Exactly.
going to keep me in for the next decade. I think that's what everything that happened got me till here. And now this one switch in the industry and the way the world works is going to keep me in for longer. So I'm glad it happened.
I mean, like listening to your stories, I have like so many questions in my head. I'm like, where do I start from? But I remember you just mentioned that you witnessed so many switches from Sketch to Figma, then this from so many manual design system making to now AI and all these workflows. So, for you, what do you feel is like the biggest shift that you have witnessed in the product design industry?
I think there was a big shift in how people used to work. And that one happened, say, just in our field, so that the audience actually relates. A developer, a designer, a product manager who needed each other to get something done in a proper way can now individually do it. Never
Yeah.
before have we seen the horizontal expansion of someone's skills before. And I
True.
think this unlocks something which is so different. Like 1 year ago, the kind of conversations that I was having during such meets was, is AI going to take my job? Now, that is such a irrelevant question because AI just gave you two more
Exactly.
jobs. Like, it
Yes.
literally gave you so much potential that you never had access to. But the only ask that it has, which I think is pretty meaningful, is you need to know what you want. And
True.
I can tell you from my personal experience that because I understand what a finance product looks like the kind of, I remember the last time I felt this was when Framer was launched. When Framer came out, I was one of the first people to actually make a website on it. And I loved it because when I think of a great idea and I make it on Figma, and then I have to hand it over to someone else who will bring it to life, when they create it, I can have only these many back and forth in terms of what I want to change. And after that, they'll pick something that can be done. Like, it's never like I can never go as deep as I can go into design because I have to get it done through someone else. But when Framer came in, I suddenly got so much control on the final outcome that I changed 50% of what I thought while I was creating it for the web. Because I could actually move those things, new ideas kicked in. Like, every time a new space is given to a creative person, they have 10,000 more ideas of doing things differently. I think now that is in terms of everything that you can do. Like, imagine
Exactly.
a PM who was like, I have a great idea. I have zero design skills. I have zero development skills. I can maybe sketch out something on a paper. But in order to see if this will work or not, I have to wait till it gets developed, which is a 1 month cycle itself. Now can simply talk to Claude, see what is working, make changes, add a filter, add this. When they are completely sure of this is their idea, they can actually move to the next person. Be like, "Hey, bro, now make it experiential, make it amazing." I think this has suddenly given you so many capabilities in terms of understanding what can be done, which is insanely huge. Uh, and I don't think anyone was prepared for this shift. But I
No
think
man.
at this point in time, I think if you are someone who's an optimist and who is actually proactive, this is the best time for you to be a designer. Like, design, like
Exactly.
anything that is around stating out the obvious features, everything can be done by Claude. Developing it can be done by Claude. Taste is something that AI is still trying to crack, and it eventually will crack that too. But you're still at an advantage as compared to the other two professions. And if you're not
Yes.
jumping in right now, you it's on you. Like, being lazy and being pessimist right now is the biggest disadvantage a person can have in this space. So if, like, I would not want to be that guy right now for sure. Like, I'll give you an example. Right
Yeah.
now, me and my team at Zero, we directly get things done on the product. We don't need to take our designs to a developer. We don't need a PRD from a product person. We have some features made.
Yeah.
We are like, this is not right. This is not developed right. Da, da, da. We literally have the repo. We create something. We raise a PR. We directly make changes on the product, and it's out. Like, that person just checks it. And again, I don't know iota of code before this. I just know what I want, and I can talk Claude to get that done. And I'm talking complex animations, interactions, feature changes, everything can be done. I never had this before. And the dopamine hit that you get by making actual changes. And trust me, in the
Yeah.
world of priority setting and the fights that you've had in the whole life in this being a designer before is like where you go like, oh, I need this to be polished, I need this to be experiential, but it is not on the priority list. And you're like, developers don't have time to pick this up. Now they don't have to. You can, if you really give so much of a crap about it, you pick it up, you fix it, you send a PR, they just approve it and it works. Like, this kind of
Exactly.
unlock never existed before. So I think this is one of the biggest shifts I've seen.
You know what? You literally just answered the question of the era because I've been connecting with students who are transitioning their field from some other uh, field to design, and they're like trying to crack this exam and all. So I've been connecting with such students and designers, and before getting into the preparation mode, their first question is should we get into this field? Should we get into this career? Is there a scope? And I've been saying the same thing now to them that like it's not how it was. You don't have to be scared, and this is the great time for you to get in because everyone is starting. As you just said, everything is at level 1 right now. Everyone, the person who
Yep,
has
yep.
been like 10,000 years of experience and the person who is just entering. Oh, you actually answered the biggest question that every person and even my audience who's going to be watching this.
I actually add one more thing to this. I think
Hmm.
so. Another uh, question that I think we see a lot, and I can understand it from a human nature perspective, is why does every JD that I see have this requirement for an experience? Why does it have like it's a starter
Yep.
job? Then why does it require 2 years experience? If I don't get a job, I don't
Yeah.
get an experience, and the chain
The
keeps on going,
circle.
right? And
Yep.
yeah, and the thing is, the difference between skill and experiences, I'm so sure there is someone who's 7 years younger than me and can design far better than I can. Imagine a very skilled warrior who is in a battle, like they would definitely slay and they would like really do a great job, versus a average general who has seen hundred of wars. Like, that person just knows thousand different ways a strategy can go right or wrong. And I think that's the difference between experience and skill. So anyone in the
Exactly.
space right now, I think skill wise, as long as you have hold on everything that's ongoing, I think you're good. You need to know what you want out of it, and you need to know, like, it's like this personal assistant that everyone has who's very smart, but if you let it
Exactly.
go rogue, it will just do something. Like, उसको अगर तुमने ढंग से डायरेक्ट नहीं किया तो वो अपना कुछ भरता करेगा और तुम्हें भी लगेगा. That's the worst thing. Like, right now, if you
Yeah.
blindly trust what it does, there is no way out of it. Like, it will
Yeah.
go into loops, and there is this uh, illusion of progress that AI gives you. Like, it will always feel like you're progressing. It will never make you feel like tum atak gaye ho. And that's a crazy hit because that takes you into rabbit holes. But if you
Yeah.
don't know what you want out of it, you'll just keep going in circles and you'll never be able to detect it. And I'm saying this because I've tried all of this. Like, I've literally, so
Yeah.
like I said, like, I can make it do amazing things for me because I know what I'm asking out of it in terms of design and experience. I'm
Yep.
someone who hates finance. I hate investing, finance, all of those spaces. And I was like, if AI is that smart, well, maybe it can do that for me. It does not. And you can learn from my experience and from everything that I have lost in terms of that experiment. It does not. Like, only if you know what you want out of it can get you that. Because then you can scold it. You can say, no, you're wrong. You're doing this wrong. And be like, oh yeah, good catch. Like, no, you're not supposed to do it in the first place. Like,
That's exactly what even I've been hearing and also like communicating to students and others that AI is just like a take it as like a helping hand, right? Not like someone who does work for you, maybe.
it's a
That's
great
where
helping
you
hand. It
draw
can
a
do so
line.
much. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like this is what we just talked about. This whole journey is also like a loop. and where students actually get stuck into, and even I was stuck into that why I went for masters was because I had a portfolio, I had a resume, I'm a designer one, right? But I did not have a experience. I did not have a degree, and that was the reason why I was getting rejected in most of my applications. And that's exactly what everyone else. I guess I've seen this change right now, like literally right now. But 3 years back, this was a thing, and that's where every other student gets stuck, and that's why they are into this loop of this whole education system and getting a degree. Even parents are, and then students also get aligned with it because they are thinking to get a good job, they need to get into a good institute to get that piece of paper. And I feel that was even my reason to go for masters, honestly. And though it worked, but today it's been changing. What do you think about that?
I'll tell you something, Simran. I think if instead
Yeah.
of spending 2 years in that college, if you had spent 6 months in just working on your portfolio and getting your skills, let's say your visual design skills or in networking and all of that stuff, you could have saved all that money and get it done in 6 months. I can tell you that because the amount of emails that I used to get, like, hey, I'm from IIT this, I'm from NID this, because
Mm-hmm.
people throw those names because they think that's going to like place you somewhere. And maybe it
Mm-hmm.
works for all other fields. In design, I literally used to be like, don't care, portfolio link. I opened that up.
Hmm.
I still remember Vittal was someone that joined my team at CRED. In 10 seconds, we saw that portfolio. I was like, in. I was like, my boss was like, Bhai, what do you think? Bhai was like, good. He was in. It takes 15 seconds to look at someone's work and be like, is this person worth spending your time on or not? And
Yeah.
Vittal was in I think Deloitte or something. Like, no one cares which college, what thing. Like, your work is the only thing that speaks for you right now. And the thing that I
Yep.
love the most right now is we live in the world of proof of work. It it was not
Mm-hmm.
for all fields back
Yeah.
then, but now it is because everyone can create. Your business
Yep.
analyst, your software developers. If you don't have actual working things that you can show for yourself right now, it does not matter which college you went to, like your US, your HCI degrees. So if someone's looking out to what the next step should be, either you know what you want to create and you have a fair enough idea, of put in some years in your career and
Mm-hmm.
now you know what is the problem. I would say go ahead and build. And it's completely fine that you fail. And if you're too fresh,
Yep.
maybe join some company, surround yourself with some amazing minds, and you will learn so much through osmosis that then you can do this after that. But everyone has to go on this creation thread right now. You have to go into that cycle. It is so rewarding. Missing out is a crime. The only thing that matters is your proof of work. And I think it has now
Yeah.
become more dominant in this space, and that's the only way ahead. And I can tell you
Yep.
why you went through this journey because I have two younger siblings. One is a product designer at Microsoft, Anshika, and another one is a product designer as Wavelength, Amisha. Both of them are also out of NIFT. And the only reason that even after me going there, they still went there is because there is no other alternative. And that was the truth until last year. And now people don't have to do that anymore. As a designer right now, there is an open space and you can just create anything and you can just do amazing things by understanding what is the next delta, like what is going to be the next delta for experience. I think Kunal Shah used to create this term. Like cars in the world of horses was delta 4. Like that changed the way. And it came with this, like, again, like this journey is going to be super difficult because they say that, like, the first one through the wall is always bloody, but it opens up gate for the next, all of them. The
Yeah.
first couple of years of cars, like you had to literally create roads, you had to create traffic light system, you had to create rules, you had to create driving tests. It took so much to make that one machine work, and after that the world was unstoppable. We are in that kind of time right now that you will have to fix, figure, fit, but whoever does this is going to be bloody, but they're going to define how the world following is going to be creating things. And I don't think it has ever been a better time to be a designer right now. I think you have 10x more capability in terms of what you can create. You have insane amount of knowledge. If you just invest enough time in understanding some nitty-gritties of some of these spaces, you can actually get so much done and you have so less dependency. Like And if you're too fresh,
Yep.
maybe join some company, surround yourself with some amazing minds, and you will learn so much through osmosis that then you can do this after that. But everyone has to go on this creation thread right now. You have to go into that cycle. It is so rewarding. Missing out is a crime.
Yeah, actually, that was my next question around like because a lot of students, designers that I talk with and the content that I see online, everyone is so confused. Like, what should they do? What should they be doing? Should they go for freelancing or big companies or startups, or what should they exactly do, or even go for college for masters? Like,
Uh, I think colleges as a system cannot exist anymore. They have to integrate with real companies, because if your job, if this whole chain ka job is to get you hireable, and if your reality and this thing is not matching, I don't think they can stay exist in now's term. And I think alternatives are on the way. Zero is one of them. So yeah, definitely gonna hit them hard. Uh, Startups, yes, I think startup is a good place to invest right now. I think get in. You will be
definitely.
surrounded by people with high energy, growth mindset. You will learn a lot, and you'll get so many ideas in terms of how things work. Actually, consciously absorb
Yeah.
how different units work, because the future is not 1,000 2,000 people company. It's going to be a group of 10 15 people, horizontally exposed people who can do multiple things, but everyone is a specialist at one thing. But everyone can jump into each other's world and move things around to make something really good. So, in order to be prepared for that setup, you have to learn basics of it. So, use that energy to right now. And there is nothing more fast paced than a startup for that. So, do that.
Exactly.
And once you have enough, try your own thing with the people who you actually vibe with.
Totally aligned with it. And I mean, even I feel the same because anyone who's actually getting into this industry, getting into this field, starting with it, startup is the place. And that's what even I love about my company, that it gives me that environment, that fast paced learning, growth, everything. So I really relate to it and even recommend everyone else, like, dude, this is what you should be doing.
I mean, definitely not as good as 7 different kind of kitchens, 30 different desserts, like what a big MNC would give you for lunches, and those 9 to 5. Like, trust me, this is far away from fun. It is slogging your ass 14 hours a day, everything. But if you have that zeal to like grow and expand, like, you just have to do that. And if you enjoy what you do, if you
Exactly.
love what you do, and I think designers, if someone has chosen to be a designer, and if you don't love what you do, then you've made some really seriously bad calls. But I like to
Yeah.
believe most designers actually like what they do. You will
Yep.
have fun. You'll burn through it, but you'll still have fun. And I would say I'd rather burn right now than be left behind. So if you're optimistic and if you are proactive, this is the best time for you. Like, I think you are gonna grow insanely high, and you're at the
Yeah.
first wave, because there will be people who will be born in next 2 years in a world of Mythos 5 and Fable 78 or whatever that is going to be then. Their life is going to be very different, but you get to see how this is built. Your first principle thinking, your fundamental is going to build right now, and you will be the leaders of that world where they come in.
Another question that is also coming to my mind is being in such places and around such people, as you said, we need a proof of work, and everyone's just questioning what sort of projects that they should be doing because I still see students and designers who are trying to get into this industry are trying to do the same old projects of redesigning this app, redesigning that app. What are your insights into this? Like, what kind of projects break through now?
I think now you have to be much more smarter. Like, what worked 10 years back with that constraints of that world, if
Yeah.
you're doing the same thing that you would have done 5 years back, you're doing something wrong. And I think now, if I had to approach companies for a job, I would actually pick a real problem that they are facing. I
Yep.
would solve for it in a way it actually works functionally, experientially, and also communication wise to the users. Like, I would not create one case study and show it to 10 different companies. I would pick the 5 companies that I actually like. I would actually create detailed workable experiences powered by a random LLM like Olama or something, and actually give them something that actually works. And this is so much easier right now. Like, if you were spending, let's say, 3 weeks into a case study back then, you can do 10x better stuff in the same time now. And not some I made a random thing. No, it you can actually put it on App Store, you can make it work, you can make it functional, you can give it to people to use, like your Bolt and your Lovable. Like it's just insane amount of ability right now. You don't have to create broad structures, you don't have to make another food ordering app design or a parking lot app design. No, literally pick a real problem for a company that you think they're facing, and you can just solve for it. And it will, and you can create a hyper experiential product for that and showcase what you are capable of, what your product thinking, engineering thinking, problem solving, everything packaged into a finished polished product. And that was never possible before. Like people were creating Figma laggy prototypes of some pre-stated conditions. Like no, now you can literally create thousand scenarios and thousand solutions to them if you just create a smart enough system.
True. That's exactly what everyone should actually think about and cater to. Not those old Figma prototypes that work now. There should be, because we have that access, right? We have those tools, we have those uh, types of workflows now that we should all be using and putting up out there. And that's what even recruiters, I feel, are looking forward to. Someone who knows all these things, can work through, and can make their workflows more efficient, like 10x efficient. That's their
And
requirement, I
I
feel.
would say like there is a world where people used to have these portfolios, and you could tell like which one are personalized, which one are templated. In
Mm.
today's world, where a little prompt can actually create a whole website on Claude, if you're making a templated portfolio, like that just tells the person in front that how basic you are as a person. Like imagine
Yeah.
you can get videos generated of the highest form of 3D designs or personalized, like you literally make yourself talk in front of a camera by giving it a script. Like there is so much you can do. The portfolio in that is made today should look wildly different than what it could have been before. Like I don't think I have the balls to even think about making another portfolio right now, because firstly lack of time, but secondly I'm like I don't know what the new benchmark is. Like मैं कुछ भी कर सकता हूँ at this point, तो मैं क्या करूँ? Like, and अगर उसके बीच में I see a framer templated portfolio, I'll be like भाई, like the bar has gone so high, and if you're so low, like फिर तुम क्या ही करोगे अभी भी जाके? If this is what you made, then there is zero expectations in terms of what you would create. I think I think people need to like really, really think right now in terms of what makes them stand out, because standing out is easy right now. Like everything is doable right now. I think portfolios and the projects that you do have to be so hyper personalized and well polished right now, because you have all the access to it. I don't think there's a reason to like half ass that anymore.
And thank you so much for this big time that you have taken out from your day. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for sharing all these insights.
thanks. I just realized I think I have so much pent up rant inside me that I just blew through.
That's good. In fact, I mean, it's happening in terms of conversations, right? And that's, we should have such spaces where we can talk about, because it's a very small community, I feel, that we have as designers, and you know it, we should talk about it very honestly and without filters.
Even the conversations and answers from what I was speaking and listening, like 1 year back, it is so different right now. And I hope, like what I really hope is what the audience is listening. Like what I'm saying is none of that should be fresh. I hope 10 people have spoken about it at length before me, because that is the true reality. And I hope people who are bit outside of it are able to see this, because I hope we are still not having conversations like, will AI eat my job? Like, that is so 2023, 24. Like, we cannot be having those conversations right now. It should be
Exactly.
something far more meaningful and far more deeper, because the world has changed so much, and it's changing month on month.
I'm so glad that we are having this conversation, because it's going to be like really, really insightful. It was for me. Definitely is going to be the next, whosoever is going to watch this. Any last comments that you have for the audience? Anything?
I think the next thing, the next biggest mover is going to be about understanding what is the experience that you want to give users. It's about human psychology, because while everything else will keep changing, one thing that will never change is people wanting more. We started from the world of menus lying around your doormats to seeing phone numbers on Zomato to being able to order on Swiggy to get it in 10 minutes on Grofers. Like, people are just going to want more and more convenience. So
Yeah.
understand humans and understand the moving pieces, and they are moving faster than they ever did in the past with AI coming into your system. Like now, I would say don't chill, don't relax. Next couple of years, run. And if you have that zeal to actually be in this space and actually want to be at a very recognizable position, like now is the time to run, grow, absorb, break barriers. Like do that right now.
Yeah.
Like abhi ek saal baad rest kar lena. Abhi just give it your 100% because this this ground zero, this range of people who get to be in this space right now to make a difference, other people will not get to be a part of
Yeah.
it. So you have this time, next 1 to 2 years, give it your best, and it will give you exponential results. Like this has never been this lucrative before, and it never will be. So now is the time. Do something.
Yay. I hope a lot of people would have been motivated out of this.
Awesome.
Okay, thank you so much for everything that you have actually shared today.